Hello everyone and welcome to B2B TV, Barnstable Educational Television. Talking with Teachers is a new program here on B2B TV. I'm your station coordinator, Jim Gilbert, here today with Justin Ogilvie, Barnstable High School business teacher. Thank you for being here, Justin, and welcome to the studio.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
Let's start with what you're teaching this year and a little bit about the grade levels that you're teaching and whatnot.
Sure. So I'm coming to Barnstable. This is my first year here, and it's in fact my first year in education. Coming in as a business teacher, I am teaching money management, which is mostly 9th and 10th graders, and Entrepreneurship 1, which is more upperclassmen, juniors, and seniors. So I get a wide array of the student body. And yeah, I'm really excited to be joining Miss Maurice and Mr. Jensen in the business program here.
Yeah, there's quite a bit that's happened with the pathway and the business over the past few years, so welcome to that program. We're excited about what's happening with that here. I noticed that you did do I didn't Facebook stalk you, I LinkedIn stalked you.
Sure.
So I noticed you did a little teaching over the summer.
Yep.
Leading up to this, but how is your first few weeks going in the classroom so far?
I am so happy to be here. I am really enjoying it, and I'm not just saying that. I am happy with my decision, which I made maybe 6 months ago or so, to leave the business world where I had a comfortable, happy job, but I was passionate about working with teenagers and adolescents, and I found that through coaching. I did quite a bit of coaching athletics over the years. But I wanted to get into teaching, so I took my MTELs, put myself out there, applied to a lot of jobs, knowing that business was probably the route for me. To get classroom experience, I took that role over the summer, which I was working for an organization that would go into hospitals and facilities for students that were away from school for mental health or behavioral health reasons, and that was a really positive experience for me to be in a classroom setting, working with kids that weren't necessarily the types of students that I had that I've been working with in the past, athletes and pretty high level students. So it was a really good experience and got me ready for coming in here and managing a classroom and setting up like expectations and things like that. So really the transition in the role and the new job has been a positive one, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks for being here and bringing that attitude to our classrooms here in Barnstable. We definitely appreciate that. So we're working backwards a little bit. So you were in the business world. If I remember correctly, it's a healthcare company that you were working for?
Yes, I did marketing, and we sold medical equipment and health devices.
And that was out of you do have an MBA, a Master's in Business Administration, from UMass Boston.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about that experience and going to graduate school and.
Yeah, I pretty much I took 1 year in between my undergrad and starting my professional career, and then I dove right into getting my master's. And I went to UMass Boston, and I did it flex, so it was in between full-time and part-time. I would take like a few classes at a time. Was able to get it done in, I think, 2.5 years while working full-time. So good experience. I would recommend it to people who are interested in an MBA program. I thought UMass Boston was great.
Awesome. So as you mentioned, it was really that coaching experience that sort of enlightened you to working with young people. Talk about some of the coaching that you've done.
Yeah, that was what pulled me into this career, and I've coached various high school sports at various levels, and also club sports outside of school. Basketball is my primary, I would say, but I've done a little soccer, a little lacrosse, boys and girls. So got to work with a lot of different types of students from different types of situations, and just really enjoyed that. So that's what drew me in.
Do you think that you could just describe or pinpoint the moment where you knew, like, was it a lightning bolt that you said, I got to do this, I got to become a teacher? Like, what was that process like?
Very possibly. I think that it went both ways. It was a slow draw where I started to do it in college, and I thought to myself back then, that might be something I want to do. I'm in a business program right now. I'm studying marketing, but I think teaching might be kind of my calling. And so I identified at that time, on the track I'm on, it's most likely going to be a business teacher. So I'm going to need to go get some experience before I transition into that role.
Yeah.
I started my career, and I enjoyed it. And I thought, you know what, maybe I stay here, and this is good, and this is what I want to do. But through coaching, it reassured me, like, nope, my calling is to work with high school students. And I would say, last year, as recently as last winter, I was coaching a basketball program at another school, and it was a difficult year with everything going on in school, out of school, family, health, all of those things. There were a lot of challenges that student athletes were facing, and being a support in that, and being an ear for them to hear them, and somebody to just help in any way that I could. What I was doing in my career at that time, I was just like, I'd rather be doing that. What might be heavy topics, I'd rather be helping a young person navigate those things or get them the support that they need if it's not something I can provide, then I wasn't feeling as passionate about what I was doing, and I was feeling extra passionate about the teaching, the coaching, the mentoring. So it was an easy decision once I came to that conclusion.
That's awesome. I'd hate to describe us as a bunch of unicorns in here, but it does take a special kind of person to be willing and interested in working with young people and supporting them in that way. Were your parents educators? Just on the personal side, where do you think that passion came from?
That's a good question, because my parents were not. I believe I'm the first educator in my family on both of my mom and dad's side, but I had really strong relationships with former teachers of mine and former coaches of mine. To this day, I still keep in touch with some, and they were helpful in my journey to get here, application process, what I need to be doing, taking the MTELs, things like that. So having those influences, especially the ones who I had coached with, who are also educators themselves, having those people answer questions I might have had or help me out through certain concerns I might have had, I think got me over the hill to get here, and that was really helpful.
That's a nice thing to understand and bring to the table for the students that you're going to end up having in your career is, the role of mentorship as opposed to just curriculum in the classroom. So there's my segue to tell me a little bit about your curriculum and the innovation pathway at Barnstable High School and what we're offering for students in the business program here.
So it's still all pretty new to me, but I think I was so attracted to it right away in my application and interviewing process. So now to be a part of it, I'm so excited. Through NIFTE, NFTE, and High School of Business, HSB, those are kind of the programs that the business pathway is affiliated with. There is, national curriculum provided, but it allows us creativity and freedom to make it unique to this school and community. There are opportunities to engage in competitions. DECA is also like a big part of it, the DECA Club, check that out if you haven't yet. And it creates real world experiences that get you ready for college, or as an entrepreneur if you decide to set out on your own venture after high school or during high school. And it just prepares you for career readiness, in working with teams and on projects. The whole curriculum is very based on project-based learning. So if you're not maybe a student that has excelled in the traditional classroom setting, memorize this, take these notes, take a test, this might be a totally different feel for you, and you may find success in that classroom environment, which I just think is really exciting.
Very cool, very cool. And I know, again, you're one of our youngest and newest teachers here at Barnstable High School. How would you describe the tone of your classroom? What sort of culture and vibe are you trying to create for your students when the door closes?
I want it to feel as much like a business environment as possible. So when you come in, I want us to pretend that we're walking into an internship or a job where, and maybe it's one of these cool, more modern offices where it's a little more chill or whatever, but creates this environment that like we're here to work, but it's not supposed to feel like a classroom. I'm not standing up in front of you, as best I can with a PowerPoint presentation and saying, memorize this and take these notes and go home and do homework.
Yeah.
I want it to be collaborative. Bring something to me. What's going on in the news that relates to our class? What are you seeing on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok? And share that with me, and we'll relate it to the topics of the class. And with the project-based environment, it's a lot of moving around and working with different people, and that excites me, and I think what I've seen so far, especially with the younger students, that it's new to. They're like, "Whoa, this is different. Maybe I'm not sure about it yet, but I'm willing to give it a try and see if I like it."
Are you seeing that? I mean, you touched on it just there a little bit. Are you seeing some of that spark and excitement, and are you already witnessing some coming out of shells at all?
I think so. The entrepreneurship class has a really cool project where you come up with a solution to a problem and you get the opportunity to research, develop all of the tools that you could possibly need to get that idea to launch and pitch it at a competition, which could potentially turn into a side hustle for those students, and it could be a venture that they embark on. And I can see the eyes light up like, oh, I have an idea, and I can't wait to see where we go with that project.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing you using some words like side hustle and TikTok and things that are a little bit more this century than last century. That's a nice vibe. Just a final question: how are you enjoying the Cape, and just living here and being here and being in this environment?
So I grew up just off Cape a little bit, just north of Plymouth, and I'm actually still living off Cape, but I'm here all the time after school, helping out with some other extracurricular stuff. So I'll run out and grab a bite to eat or a coffee or something somewhere, and I've asked the students for recommendations of places. So I've been trying to hit some spots. I went to Crisp, I went to Anejo, and it's been awesome. It's a cool place, and specifically for what I'm teaching, entrepreneurship and these opportunities that exist, I think it's an exciting, unique place to be.
Well, remind me to send you some links of our local business organizations that are supporting our locals around
definitely.
here.
Please do.
Justin, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it and offering your time and insight at Barnstable High School.
Sure, thank you.
Justin Ogilvie, business teacher, Barnstable High School. Thank you for watching Talking with Teachers. I'm Jim Gilbert, station coordinator for B2B TV, Barnstable Educational Television. Thanks for watching.